Hello everyone, it's Rich from the Indie Art Social Club, and today I am reviewing the new Charlatans album. So any older fans of the Charlatans will know songs such as North Country Boy, One to Another, lots of classic tunes really over the years, and one which formed sort of a Manchester era, not quite round, well I suppose around the sort of same time as the Roses and that sort of thing. But yeah, very, very good band. And they're coming to us with a new album. First one since 2017, I believe. So the album's called We Are Love. The first track off there is called Kingdom of Ours. So starts with a bit of a darker feel to the normal Charlatans stuff. Very edgy but powerful riff. And to be honest, like touches of I was trying to think the song, and I think it's around like Ian Brown, like either Fear or Golden Gaze. It's just got that edgy feel about it, which is a little bit different from the Charlatans, but worked really well for an opening track. And then it goes on to the second track is We Are in Love, or We Are Love, which is the title of the album. Very upbeat string guitar, uplifting chorus, with a bit heavy sort of keyboard organ playing in there. Very typical of the Charlatans, to be honest, and the vibes. But this track was coming more little bit of Smith vibes. That little string guitar song, quite upbeat, but yeah, really good track. It moves on then onto the third track, which is Many a Day a Heartache. Again, another more upbeat track, with good indie vibes, simple but catchy chorus. Just one of those you could imagine like kicking back on a hot summer's day listening to. Again, more of the Charlatans' normal sort of vibes. Like I said, caught me a bit off guard with the opening track. It was like, this is a little bit different for them. Like I said, very dark, edgy. But yeah, another great track. And then the fourth tune was For the Gills, which feels more classic Charlatans straight from the start. Um, and you just get those certain bands or those certain tunes, you just listen to it and you're like, yeah, I'd probably say that was a Charlatans sort of thing. Simple guitar riff, build up really punchy chorus, and creates a festival tune atmosphere. So that's basically what I'd say. Is it is one of those tunes which you could imagine on a grass verge somewhere with a couple of beers and just good vibes. That's exactly where I am with that track. The fifth track, Can't Push the River, so again goes back to sort of more of a darker feel. Um, got a feeling to it like Last Shadow Puppets, slow progressive build up, almost like a Bond villain soundtrack. But it is very, I would say, it's got that sort of edgy sort of Shadow Puppets, Last Shadow Puppets sort of feel to it. Really good track. Something different though, something you wouldn't normally hear from Charlatans. And I like that they took that bit of a risk, because when I was first listening to that sort of track, and I was like, all right, okay, this is something different. And then it sort of went more of old school sort of feeling of the Charlatans, and then it's moved back away. So that was good. The sixth track is Deeper and Deeper. This is just a classic as soon as you get a start. Big organ, big standalone chorus, and giving vibes of the original sort of Manchester movement, but with a touch of 80s sort of synth pop electro sort of sprinkled on the top. I like the direction they went with the track. But yeah, very good. So the seventh track is Appetite. Again, electro beats to open up, and then slowing down to a more progressive track, with some nice synth tones creating a psychedelic feel. Um, Classic organ, little interlude sort of part, which lets you know it's very Charlatans. Charlatans are all about the organ and those sort of beats, and it works, and it still works to this modern day. If you're a fan of that, I think it will appeal to the sort of modern indie sort of person that would go back. into one of the old bands and discovering their new sort of tracks. But yeah, very, very Charlatans. And then the 8th track, which is Saltwater. So this opens up with beach vibes, and you can hear like ripples of the sea and waves and whatnot with backing voices of people. It just sounds like they're enjoying a nice day on the beach. Very clever track, very slow, laid back, and it's just one of those just to sit back and lay and chill, to be honest. The 9th track, On Your Own. So this is, again, electronic open up, classic vocals, showcasing very similar to sort of North Country Boy, if you know that song. Got a little bit of a swagger to it. Great build up to an uplifting section. Very catchy, inspiring lyrics, which then sort of turns the track on its head. You think it's going one direction, it goes another. And I do generally love to change the direction of this track, and it's probably my favorite tune. So check that one out. That's On Your Own. So then going into the 10th track, You Glad You Grabbed Me. So this is opening with strong guitar riffs, flowing piano notes. Production of this track feels like it's really, really well thought out. I would say the most modern track with current trends in band music. Bit of saxophone in it as well during the track. Just thought it was going to be Sam Fender who's brought that back, but seems to be a bit of a running theme. And then when it goes into the saxophone, there's a bit of a feel like the track Let's Dance by Bowie, which is just a classic. And then it ends with like a 90s dance section. Like I said, the production feels very, very good on this. Sort of moves really well and takes a lot of twists and turns. Doesn't just stay sort of that constant sort of beat here. It's very up and down, and yeah, good end and finish as well to that one. Then the final track is Now Everything. So it starts very, very sort of slow pace tempo, stripped back. And then it creates classic ends. It seems, it almost feels like if you watched a set of this, or the album was a festival set, this would be the ending sort of track. I wouldn't be surprised if they are doing gigs that they probably would end on this. But again, very sort of like summer vibes, festival, smile on your face. And I think maybe with that in mind, with the summer lineups for next year, this is the sort of thing they had in mind. Overall, like I said, album started with a much sort of darker feel to it, the opening track, which I really liked. But then it went back into sort of classic Charlatans soon. But then after a few tracks, again, it throws you on a bit of a different journey. And I just think this album, considering they haven't released an album for so long, I think it does fit in with modern day music and where these bands are trying to get a direction. I think most people would listen to this even if you haven't listened to Charlatans and you're not a fan, and probably appeal to you if you're into this type of music. So yeah, I rate it highly. I think it's a really good, solid album from the Charlatans. Um, like a lot of sort of albums usually have like a bit of filler in there and all that. And I wouldn't say there was a lot in this. Like I said, I think it's just takes a bit of a change of direction, goes sort of stays a bit safe at first, if I'm being honest, and then sort of moves into that sort of more risk taking and where they've tried to be a little bit different, I think. So yeah, check it out. Really good album. Let us know what you think.